Thurman, go ahead, brother. See your hand up.
Happy to see you again. So the first one was, how do you know you're being a good partner? And then also, when do you know if you should get a new partner?
Oh, this is great. I'll let Mike take these.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So I'm an attorney, so people are thinking I'm going to give some sort of very concrete answer, but the real answer is trust your instincts and trust your gut. And when you see red flags, don't ignore them. And you would think that I would know this from business partnerships, which I guess I do, but I've learned this more from relationships before I was married. So what you find is that people will show you who they are. They will gift you all sorts of comments. They will make comments that show you if they're honest, if they're helpful. They people say things all the time. You just have to be listening. So when people tell you things, don't disregard them, because there's this golden nugget at the end of the thing. Like there's this amazing deal where you could get like a five unit. It's like, it sounds so great. So all I have to do is partner with this person. All right, maybe their moral compass is a little bit off, but let's go do it. So then answer the first question, just watch for red flags or green lights. That would be my first one. And then for the second one, I would say when you see those red flags, act quickly and always have an exit strategy when you go into it. Make sure that you set it up in a way that you can move on.
I love that. And Ron and I have always had an exit strategy. There's always been a buyout option for both of us. If either one decide, hey, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, we can always do the buyout. He and I probably talk about it once a year. Every so often I'll be like, do you want out, bro? I'll buy you out. And his price is always way more than I want to pay. So stay in it together.
One of the things I think about partnerships, and what Mike said was right on, trust your gut. However, your head's going to be telling you a whole lot of crap that isn't necessarily true. So pay attention to if it's a still small voice inside telling you that there's a problem that you got to look at versus your head freaking out about the next thing that happened, because our heads really do look for the problems and blow the problems out of proportion. But what you want to do, it also minimizes the problems. When there is a problem, we'll minimize the problem and go, well, it's a commitment problem for me and I got to stick in this. And so we don't tell ourselves the truth a lot. The best thing to do is what Mike talks about in his first step in his book, which is communicate. You need to talk to your partners. If you have a partnership, you need to be communicating, and you need to be over communicating. You need to make sure that they're on the same page. You need to make sure that you guys are moving the same direction. And I told a story the other day on a Facebook Live about one of my clients who thought they had the same values as somebody else, that they were thinking about partnering ship because they use the same words. And using the same words is great, but what my words mean to me might be the same words you use, but they might mean something completely different. So you have to really understand the meaning of what you mean by partnership, understand the meaning of what you mean by going into a deal together and what that looks like. Because so often we talk, but we don't understand that I'm meaning something else than Walter might be meaning. I say, hey, let's meet at the building. He thinks we're talking about the west side doors. I'm talking about the rights, but we said meet at the building. So we think we're meeting and we don't meet. Now, that's a very simple idea, but how much does that happen in the partnership and breaking up the money and or breaking up the duties or what? I think you're going to handle something and you think I'm going to handle it, because we talked about handling it, but nobody took the assignment. You got to be clear, and you got to have it, like Mike says, written down, and you have to have some agreeable benchmarks so you know you can hold people accountable, you know that you can take responsibility, and you know you can get the results that you're looking for. If that's not happening, then you're not being a good partner. And if it's not happening on their side, although you're going for it, you need to have a conversation about that, and you need to get vulnerable about how that's feeling when it's not working.
So powerful. Great questions, Thurman. Let's give Thurman a round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Terry Wade.
Guys.
Thank you, Michael Shack.
When I started my law partnership, I hate to say that's because there may be like analysis paralysis people in the room, but with my law partner, we met for a whole year before we agreed to partners. So we were meeting like weekly for lunch and talking about things to do exactly what Terry said, so that we understood that when we were speaking about things, we were saying the same thing. It took a long time. I'm not a C personality, so it took some patience to go through that, but it was such an important partnership that we took the time. And really hammered down the language, kind of like Terry was talking about. So yeah, take your time. It's no rush.
I'm going to add to that. And Julie Bradley, you're up next. For everybody who's considering partnering, that what Mike just dropped is true for every partnership I can think of. Ron, he and I were dating for a year, basically. You know, we'd have lunch. He was in my office. We'd be working together every week. And it wasn't until after a year of really getting to know each other that we said, okay, let's do this. And then every other partner has been through the mentorship program and was hanging out with us. We've all known each other for more than a year and have been going through week by week with the 52 Weeks of Wealth or in the mentorship program on Mondays and having those deeper conversations. So that year long, that is like, actually, that's really good, Mike. It does take a decent amount of time to identify whether a person's a good partner. That's why today's exercise included somebody you already know, somebody who've already been watching, observing, and has already sent you money, has already worked with you on some level. It may be an opportunity to deepen that. Go ahead, Julie.
Just to build, and it's a great segue to go after you, Walter. I started reading the Law of Success, and he talked about our harmonious. Just to build, and it's a great segue to go after you, Walter. I started reading the Law of Success, and he talked about our harmonious as a great word to identifying a partner and how you can be a good partner too. If you bring disagreement or you have someone that always disagrees, it's tough to kind of get together and accomplish anything. So again, going through meetings with someone throughout the year, you can really identify if it's going to be a harmonious energy between the two minds.
100%. Let's give Julie Bradley a round of applause. She is our bookkeeper. She's keeper of the books. A little different keeper of the books, right?